Meanwhile, over on the website, Bill Barnwell was given the task of naming the worst 50 Premier League transfers in history. It's detailed, it's there for you to enjoy. We've just picked some of the big names there, as Craig is still with us. We welcome back Ian Darke, because Ian, maybe some people aren't familiar with number one and Ali Dia. Just tell us the story.
It's a hilarious story. This was a guy whose last club was Blythe Spartans, a non-league club, but he claimed to be a nephew of the World Footballer of the Year, George Weah. Now, for some reason, he got signed or conned his way into getting a month's contract with Southampton. And the story gets even more fantastical because he's actually brought on in a Premier League game for a few minutes. And he has to be substituted very, very quickly because it's very, very embarrassing. Graham Souness was the manager at the time, and somehow I think the signing had gone on behind his back and everything had been taken on trust. And I remember Matt Letitia saying about this guy, he said, when he trained with us, I thought he was a member of the public who'd won a reality TV contest to have a go being a professional footballer. So how this guy got to play in the Premier League is a wonderful story.
It's 100% true as well. It's an incredible tale that really you couldn't make up. Meanwhile, Craig, you take a look at the other 49. Which one stood out for you in particular?
Well, let me just go back slightly, because a little caveat to that story, to that transfer. How the hell he slipped through the net at Southampton and managed to get a contract, as Ian said, is baffling. But I can tell you, before he went to Southampton, I don't know how many other clubs he was at, but he was at Chelsea. He came to train with us when I was there, and the reason he came to train with us is because he said he was George Weah's cousin, and Glenn Hoddle, our manager at the time, had played with George Weah at Monaco, I believe, if my story's correct. So he managed to wangle his way, and so Glenn said, oh, yeah, okay, I'll do George a favour, and you come, you can train with us. And a bit like what Matt Letitia said at Southampton, as soon as this guy got on the training field, we all went, hold on a minute here, hold on a minute, something's not right. And Glenn and Peter Shreve sussed it straight away and thought, nah, something not right here. So they got rid of him, and he somehow managed to find his way down to the south coast, and for some reason somebody decided to sign him. It was quite incredible, because I saw the guy on the training field and it was like seeing a very, very bad Sunday League footballer who was struggling to get a game.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. What about others from the list, Ian? Who else stands out for you?
Definitely Winston Bogarde. This is a guy Chelsea signed from Barcelona, but they changed managers. I think Vialli had signed him, and then Ranieri became the manager. The deal had been done sort of without Vialli even knowing, and he just didn't fit in. But he was on this great contract at £40,000 a week that was going to pay him $15 million over 4 years, and he basically just refused to be transferred. So he carried on turning up every day, doing the training, never getting selected, often with the youth team, sometimes training on his own and picking up £40,000 a week. And he was like the forgotten man of the Premier League. This was a guy who'd played for the Netherlands in a European Championship and a World Cup as well. But it all went wrong, and he didn't care. He was just going to bank the money.
Have you been at the Derek Ray School of Pronunciation, Ian? What did you call him there, Winston?
Bogarde, wasn't it? That's how I think we said it. Yeah, Bogarde. What are you going to say?
Is it not Winston Bogarde?
Yeah, you can call him that. Like Humphrey. Sounds better. Go on. Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry, bloody commentators, Dan. What have I told you about these commentators?
Well, obviously, maybe, never mind how you say his name, not many people have heard of him. Others, obviously, more prominent, Balotelli, Shevchenko, Bebe there as well.
What do you mean nobody's heard of Winston Bogarde? Played for the Netherlands.
Well, yes, I know that, but not at Chelsea they hadn't, did they? We just heard that he was a mercenary just taking the money.
No.
Meanwhile, away from him, all the big names as well, Shevchenko, Balotelli, Bebe, high profile. Anyone in particular stand out for you, Craig?
Bebe's in there, Balotelli's in there, you mentioned. I know Ian probably wants to talk about Massimo Taibi. But Balotelli's a bit of an easy target, isn't he? Because he's a super talented player, and it hasn't worked out for many clubs. Shevchenko was he was past that super duper striker of Milan by the time he got to Chelsea, so that's kind of understandable. but he certainly wasn't. A lot of these guys were not flops as players, but possibly, as you say, these particular transfers didn't work out.
Ian, last word on this from you?
Well, I think Craig's right. We've got to give Massimo Taibbi a go because it shows that even Sir Alex Ferguson can make mistakes in the transfer market, because they had Mark Bosnich in goal that season. He lost the form. I think it was an injury as well. So this guy Taibbi, who'd had a string of Italian clubs, had to play. And there was this game against Southampton at Old Trafford, which ended in a 3-3 draw. And Matt Le Tissier must have had a shot that travelled at precisely 1 mile an hour from 20 yards out, which he somehow managed to let slither under his body and kept his place for the next game. They went to Arsenal. He played again. They lost 5-0. He never played after that.
Wow. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Just a reminder, ESPN FC are back on your screens tomorrow. Be sure to join us. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.